Since you hit play on Wife Teacher Mommy, the podcast today, I want to make sure that you know that our free self-love challenge is happening in February 2024 right here on the podcast. The goal of this challenge is to make creating an intentional practice of self-love even easier than ever simply by plugging in your earbuds and listening for about 10 minutes per day. But for the full experience, you're going to want to get the scorecard so you can enter the giveaways, get the daily journal prompts sent to your inbox, and join us for the live wrap-up podcast recording. Yes, you get to join me in the studio and record the podcast together live. It is all free. Go to wifeteachermommy.com/self-love challenge to sign up. Again, it is completely free. You'll get a daily reminder with the free 10-minute coaching each day and your journal prompt, and you will see a transformation over these 14 days. It is not only going to impact your relationship with yourself, but as I'll teach during the challenge, it is going to impact every single other relationship you have in your life, your relationship with other people, your relationship with teaching. That energy is going to impact every single other aspect of your life. So sign up at wifeteachermommy.com/self-love challenge. It's free. Now let's get to the episode.
You are listening to episode number 90 of Wife Teacher Mommy, the podcast. Owning Your Teacher Wins, full session, revised and updated. I am giving you my entire session that I am doing at Educate and Rejuvenate here on the podcast for you to listen today. Let's go. Welcome to Wife Teacher Mommy, the podcast. I'm Kelsey Sorensen, a former elementary teacher and current homeschool mom. And even though I've been a resource creator since 2014, I've realized that printables alone aren't all you need in order to thrive as a teacher or homeschool parent. That's why I also created this show and got certified as a life coach to help you finally kick burnout to the curb and feel confident with whatever challenges come your way. With the right mindset strategies and new teaching inspiration, you're going to be well on your way to your best teacher life. Now let's go. Educate and Rejuvenate is starting today as this episode goes live. I am so excited. Joe Dombrowski is going to come out and do his keynote. I'm going to do some live teaching. We're going to have panels. It's going to be such a good time. And then tomorrow, Christina Kuzmich is going to do her keynote. I'll be doing some more live teaching. It is going to be such a great time. Now, if you're listening to this, there's a good chance that my team has already taken down the chance to buy a ticket. If you're listening on the 27th, you could go see. But if not, the best way to get access to the event is by joining us inside Wife Teacher Mommy Club. And I have some really exciting announcements coming today about that, but I'll give you a little sneak peek here on the podcast. Anybody who joins us while the doors are open during this Educate and Rejuvenate period gets to lock in our all-time low pricing. We are increasing the prices in August because now that we've brought in a full life coaching program, all of these conferences, and more than doubled our product catalog since we opened the club, it's time for us to increase the price. So if you join us now, you will lock in our current pricing. Plus, if you join us on the quarterly or annual membership, you will get one of our teacher planners mailed to you in the mail. And if you join annually, you will also get a 44-ounce stainless steel tumbler with an adorable quote that says progress over perfection on it. So you will get those bonuses worth over $100 alone. Like it's basically a Stanley, which is like $60. And if you were to buy our planner, that's $50. And then you get a full year of the club for $299. Such a killer deal. Weekly coaching, unlimited resources, VIP access to all our events. It is honestly a no-brainer. So I would love for you to go to wifeteachermommy.com/club to learn more. It's going to be such a great time. So excited about the club and everything that we're doing in there. Now, today, I wanted to give you a little sneak peek at the Educate and Rejuvenate event. Whether or not you have a ticket, this is the audio version of just one of my pre-recorded sessions, and I'll be doing lots of live teaching at the event too. But if you join us in the club, you'll also get instant access to the Wife Teacher Mommy Club private podcast, which means that you'll be able to listen to all of the club sessions in podcast format just like this, which is super exciting. So even if you don't have time to sit and watch videos, you can listen to presentations just like this one and soak them up in audio format. So really excited for you to be able to try that out here today on the podcast. Now, this session is all about owning your wins as a teacher. And as I'll tell you, it was my number one voted session at Educate and Rejuvenate last year. It was actually the number one out of all the pre-recorded sessions. And I really think it's because every teacher needs to hear this. And I share a little bit more about that in the actual recording. But you will definitely learn a lot from this session. And let's dive in. Hello and welcome to Educate and Rejuvenate 2023. My name is Kelsey Sorensen. I am the owner of Wife Teacher Mommy and the host of this conference. And I just want to thank you for being here. I'm so excited that you're here at this event. It is our second year doing it. We know what we're doing a little bit more, and we're really excited to take what happened last year, which was an amazing conference, and make it even better for you this year. So we're really excited about that. But one of the reasons I wanted to do this session again and record it and tell you to start with this session is because last year it was voted the number one session at Educate and Rejuvenate 2022. Now, I'm not saying that to brag at all, because I truly don't even think it's me. It is this content that I believe every teacher out there, every homeschool parent, anybody who's here needs to hear. No matter what grade you teach, no matter how you teach, no matter if you're teaching online, doesn't matter. Every single teacher needs to hear this, because all of you likely find yourself in what I'm going to teach you about the gap instead of the gain, and not looking at your wins as a teacher and how far you have come. So we're going to talk about this today. The other important thing is, because you're at a big event, you're going to get lots of ideas. You might feel energized at first, and then you might feel a little like, oh, wait, how on earth am I going to do all of this? Now, so I'm here from the get-go to help you kind of realize that what mindset to come in to this event from. So really excited to dive in to this session. And I'm re-recording it again this year because I have some additional perspective now that I've certified as a life coach, and now that I've taught this content a few more times. Last year was the first time I did it, but now I've done this same session at several events and polished it even more. So want to give you the very, very best here at Educate and Rejuvenate 2023. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to pull up my slides for Own Your Teacher Wins, because you owe it to yourself, right? Okay, so first off, I guess short intro. I'm Kelsey Sorensen. Like I mentioned, I'm the host of this event. I got my bachelor's of elementary ed from the University of Utah. I'm also a certified coach with the Life Coach School. I taught third grade, subbed kindergarten through sixth grades, and now I homeschool my 3 kids. So I've kind of been all over the place when it comes to education. I started Wife Teacher Mommy in 2014, and we opened the doors of our membership Wife Teacher Mommy Club in 2021, which is what led to this event. Originally, it was going to be a members only event, but then we decided, let's open it far and wide. We need every teacher to be able to learn about this stuff, and you can just buy a ticket and it's great. I'm also a soon-to-be author, which I'm really excited about. I just signed a deal with Teacher Goals Publishing to write a book about mindset for teachers, which will be coming out in 2024. And to get me to know me a little bit more, you can listen to Wife Teacher Mommy, the podcast. Okay, so let's dive in to this session. So why are we going to talk about this? So owning our wins is something that generally, as humans, as people with brains, we don't do very well. And like I mentioned, at a big conference like this, you're going to get lots of ideas, but that might lead you to think things that make you feel overwhelmed. So we want to come into this with the right perspective on what success at Educate and Rejuvenate 2023 is going to look like for you. Okay, so first I want to talk a little bit about thoughts that we think on a regular basis. So I want you to tell me kind of like, I mean, you're obviously watching or listening to this by yourself, but kind of think in your head, have you ever thought anything like any of these? I wish I was more fill in the blank. I should have done fill in the blank. I shouldn't have done fill in the blank. Or why does this person do this thing so much better, more easily, more efficiently than me? I dropped the ball again. I can't do it. It's too hard. I think every single one of us could raise our hand that we've thought some of these things before, right? But what I want to teach you here today and in the live sessions I'll be doing on the 27th and 28th is the power that our thoughts have over us. They greatly impact our lives. In fact, they're one of the greatest things that impacts our lives because they drive our feelings, which then we use to take action to create the results we see in our lives. Now, this is a self-coaching model that was created by Brooke Castillo, who was the founder of the Life Coach School, where I got my life coaching certification. Now, she made this model as just kind of a way to show how the world works and conceptualize it. Now, she didn't make up like circumstances, thoughts, feelings, actions, and results. She just kind of put it in this model for us so we can utilize it. But basically, and I'm only going to talk about this for a minute, I'll talk a little bit about it more during my live sessions. But our circumstances are neutral. They could be proven in a court of law. Everybody would agree on it. It is our thoughts that drive our feelings. And a lot of times we think our thoughts are circumstances, but they are actually thoughts. Like we might think, I have the worst class. So we might just think that is like the fact of the situation, but really that's what we're thinking about it. And the fact is we have a class full of 27 students or however many you have. Now, awareness of our thoughts and how they're impacting us is the key. I'll be diving into this even more on my live call on June 27th, but this is where owning our wins comes in because looking at our wins and thinking about them, that is kind of shifting our thoughts. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So my story towards looking at my wins. So this is me holding my youngest in October of 2019. And I had a major anxiety attack 5 days after having him. Now I'd had anxiety attacks before, but this was like a major one where I felt like I was having a heart attack. I was convinced I was having a heart attack. It was the scariest time of my life. I hadn't slept in 3 days straight, and not because he wasn't sleeping. He was actually the best sleeper of all of my babies, but it was because if I tried to go to sleep, my body would just like jolt me awake. And it was really terrifying. So then I was afraid to go to sleep. And then it was this vicious cycle. But I'm actually very grateful this happened because throughout my life, I had just labeled myself as an anxious person. Like, I'm just anxious. I just have anxiety. It's just part of me. And I mean, I had even been told this by well-meaning parents and family members, aunts, uncles, whatever, like, oh, Kelsey, she's just anxious. She's a worrier. And I just took these labels on myself. And that's what I thought about myself. Like, I'm anxious. I'm a worrier. This is who I am. And for that reason, it wasn't something I ever thought about getting help with or that I could even change, that I even was able to. But this was a catalyst towards me making that change. So what happened after this, and after I had that really scary time, is that I started working with a life coach. Her name is Lizzie Langston, and actually she is doing a yoga class with us here at Educate and Rejuvenate on the 28th. So be sure to attend that live if you're watching this before then, or if not, the replay will be in the members area as well, because she's a life coach and a yoga instructor. But she started each of our sessions asking me what my wins were. She'd be like, what do we have to celebrate this week? And the funny thing is, so I was working with her one-on-one. And to work one-on-one with the life coach, it costs quite a bit of money for each session and for each thing you were doing. So I felt a little bit annoyed. I was like, you know what? I'm paying for this. I need to get right to what my problems are. I don't have time to spend the first 5 minutes of our call talking about my wins. What I didn't realize is the importance of this part of our calls and how it helped me frame my mindset before diving into what I would consider my problems. And over time, I started to get grateful for that we started our sessions with this. But it just goes to show that naturally, so many of us, we think it is a waste of time to look at our wins. We think we have too much to do, too much other things to worry about, that like, maybe I'll do that at some point, but I don't have time to own my wins. I don't have time to do this, or it matters more to focus on the negative and fixing all my problems. But really, you don't need to take that long, just a couple minutes to write down your wins. And I'm going to be talking about different methods, but it just makes such a huge difference. Okay, so next let's talk about this concept called the gap and the gain. Now, this concept is from a book of the same title by Dan Sullivan and Benjamin Hardy. And it's so simple, yet this concept completely blew my mind. So I'm blowing this up a little bit bigger for you. And what it says here, for any of you who might be listening on the private podcast, if you are a Wife Teacher Mommy Club member or a Platinum Pass holder, you also have a private podcast. So you might be listening without the visuals. So let me read this. So it says, most people, especially highly ambitious people, I would put teachers and homeschool parents both under that category, most are unhappy because of how they measure their progress. We all have an ideal, a moving target that is always out of reach. When we measure ourselves against the ideal, we are in the gap. However, when we measure ourselves against our previous selves, we are in the gain. So if you look at it, when you're in the gap, you're starting at this point and you're measuring yourself, what you've achieved versus where you would like to be, okay? And when you do that, what you're likely to feel is failure, frustration, disappointment, low self-esteem, guilt, and depression. Now, when you're looking at the gain, you're starting at the exact same place. You've achieved the exact same thing, as you can see from this picture, and you're still visualizing the ideal in the future. But what you are measuring is where you started and how far you've come. And when you do that, what you're likely to feel is success, satisfaction, confidence, high self-esteem, enjoyment, and optimism. Now, do you see what the difference is here? What is the difference? It's how we're thinking about this, how we're measuring it, which is how we're thinking about it. So fascinating. Now, here's another illustration of this. So what we have here, we have this line, we have the starting point, we have an arrow going towards the ideal point, and we have this little guy, and he's right there on the line. And the gain is measuring the starting point between where the little guy is at. The gap is measuring that line to the ideal point. So it's just kind of another way to visualize it. We want to look at how far we've come, not just forget, not just keep moving that goalpost without even realizing we're doing it and not even acknowledging how far we come. And that's what we're looking to change here. Okay, so for teachers, think about it. You are right now where you once wanted to be. At one point, you decided you wanted to become a teacher or you wanted to homeschool your kids. You are at a goalpost that you set. But at some point, it's likely that you moved that goalpost. You're like, oh, well, I'm doing it. That doesn't really matter. Now I realized I'm not doing this well enough. No, we want to look at how far we've come, right? We want to see our growth. We want to celebrate it. So think about that gain, how far you've come, not the gap. You can still visualize the future. We want to learn and grow always. You can gain momentum when you think about how far you've come. You're like, oh, if I came this far, then I can definitely go that far. It's just a different way of framing your mindset. Okay, so another way to do this is by tracking your wins and your progress. So this is kind of an adapted version of what they teach in that book, The Gap and the Gain, by Dan Sullivan and Benjamin Hardy. Again, I would really recommend that book if you want to dive even more into this concept. It's kind of written towards business owners, but honestly, I think it's a total life skill. Okay, so what you can do is pick up a notebook to keep track of your wins. Now, on the first night that you do this, pick 3 wins that you know you can hit the next day. Only 3. I know you're going to be tempted to write more. You're going to be like, well, I need to get more than 3 things done that day. But this is what's really important, is narrowing it down to 3 that you know you can achieve. Then every night you get to write in your notebook that you did hit those 3 wins. So the next night, you're like, oh yeah, I did those 3 things. And then if there were even more, which for me is almost always the case, that I did even more than those 3 things, write them all down. And then you suddenly feel like, wow, I did everything I said I was going to do. I kept my promise to myself and I did even more. That feels so much better. If you did like 6 things when you said you were going to do these 3, look how far you've come. But if you wrote a to-do list of 20 things, you're like, I only did 6. Same thing either way. It's just a different way of looking at it. So again, then you can repeat and do this again each day. This really helps you be intentional and prioritize, because you can't always do 20 things in a day, right? We might be like, I want to do all these things, but we might not be being realistic about it. We want to keep momentum going. It helps you notice each day how far you're coming, because sometimes we just passively go through our work week. We don't even notice how much we've gotten done. So when you take that time to reflect, you're like, oh, wow, like at the beginning of this week, that's right. On Monday, I hadn't even done that yet. And now by Friday, I've like done a million things since then. It just helps you be able to notice. And it's an easy way to measure. It's an easy way to look back on the gain when you look at your notebook, because you can flip through and see all of the things you've accomplished since you started doing this. Another way you can do this is with a spreadsheet. This works really well for something you are tracking numerically, such as if you're like working on weight loss or savings, paying off student loans, writing certain word count in a book, etc. So you can keep a spreadsheet and choose a time increment for tracking so you can see how much progress you are making. And then along the way, make sure to celebrate too. And then there are different apps you can use for this as well. The Notes app on my phone, honestly, that is one I use a whole lot because it's just really easy to open and you can have notes for different things. There's also an app called Streaks for a habit tracker. So if what you're trying to do is create a habit of something, like, exercising each day, or even the habit of tracking your wins, you can keep track of it in there. Habitica is another great app. And then another app I found is called Thought Diary. I saw an ad for that and it seems really cool as like a self-guided coaching tool as well. Okay, another thing that I love for tracking my wins is using a vision board. Now, a vision board is kind of looking to the future, right? It's kind of that visualization. So you might be like, wait, is this the gap? But no, it's because you're coming at it from a different perspective. You put up all the goals that you are working towards, personal, you can do it teaching, or you can do both. There's a way to do this. We can also physically measure all the things as you accomplish them as well. So here's what I do. So when I started my vision board, put all the pictures up there. So each day I could kind of remember, this is what I'm working towards. And then as you accomplish each one, you can take it down and put it in a book. So then you're creating this book of all your wins. Like at one point, this was on my vision board as something I wanted to accomplish. Now I've done it. And now I have it in a book. And you can kind of look through and see all those things you've accomplished. And then you can be reminded of where you're working towards too, because again, we still can visualize the ideal. We can still be like, oh, this is a goal I'm working towards. Like maybe I'm working towards reducing my hours in my work week or whatever. And you have like a number of like that goal or whatever. And then, you're still looking at the ideal. You're still setting goals. That's something we like to do. But you're coming at it from this clean place of, this is where I'm going. I feel so excited about how far I've come. And you're owning your wins all along the way. So what you can do is find what works for you to track your progress and see how far you come, whether it's in a notebook, an app, a spreadsheet, or a vision board binder system, or anything else that works for you. And I would actually love if you want to head to the discussion thread in the Facebook group and let me know, how is it that you plan on tracking your progress on owning your wins starting today? Okay. Next, what we want to do is celebrate. I want you to take time every day, or at least once a week, to intentionally look at your wins and then celebrate them. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. It certainly can, but it could be as simple as telling a friend or spouse or partner about your wins. And if you need somewhere to do this, go ahead right now during the event, post in the Educate and Rejuvenate group. Or when the event is over, you can post in the free Wife Teacher Mommies Unite group or the Wife Teacher Mommy Club Facebook group. We will celebrate with you. We love to do that. Okay, and then the next thing is remembering to be grateful all along the way as well. And I really wanted to share this quote from Brene Brown. Okay, research on emotions shows that positive emotions wear off quickly. Our emotional systems like newness. They like novelty. They like change. We adapt to positive life circumstances so that before too long, the new car, the new spouse, the new house, they don't feel so new and exciting anymore. But gratitude makes us appreciate the value of something. And when we appreciate the value of something, we extract more benefits from it. We're less likely to take it for granted. In effect, I think gratitude allows us to participate more in life. We notice the positives more, and that magnifies the pleasures you get from life. Instead of adapting to goodness, we celebrate goodness. We spend so much time watching things, movies, computer screens, sports, but with gratitude, we become greater participants in our lives as opposed to spectators. And this is what I love about coaching in general. And when we look at our thoughts in our mind, is we are becoming participants in our lives and not just spectators. We're observing what is going on in our brain. We're making sure that we make time for gratitude and all the things that we are grateful for. So powerful. I just love that quote from Brene Brown. And with gratitude, we don't want it to just be an attitude of gratitude, but a practice of gratitude. And according to Brene, an attitude is a way of thinking, which is good, but taking it a step further as a practice is a way of doing, trying, failing, and trying again. So taking the time to write, do, or say, I am grateful for, fill in the blank. Okay, so here's a little recap of everything we went over in today's session. Thought patterns impact our feelings, actions, and the results that we see in our lives. We want to look at where you are now compared to how far you've come versus where you want to be. Okay, so let's recap everything we've gone over so far. So our thought patterns greatly impact our feelings, actions, and the results that we see in our lives. And I want you to look at where you are now compared to how far you've come instead of versus where you want to be. So you can see how far you've come, so you can celebrate that progress. Remember, you are now where you once wanted to be. Then all along the way, you can track your progress. You can do that by writing down the 3 wins that you're going to have the next day. And then the next day, writing all the ones that you did and picking 3 for the next day. Or you can do it with the vision board and the book when you take everything down and create a visual book of all the things that you have created in your life. Or a spreadsheet or an app or whatever it is that works for you, just something where you can keep track of your progress and visualize it. I also want you to celebrate your wins. Look at how far you've come. Tell somebody, buy yourself a treat or something, whatever it is that helps you to celebrate how far you've come. And last but not least, we want to practice gratitude and be grateful for all the amazing, beautiful parts of our life. So just remember to think, I am grateful for, and then fill in that blank. So once we realize these 3 things, our thoughts about our circumstances are what create our feelings, drive our actions, and create our results, not the circumstances themselves. Now I'm going to teach you more about this in my June 27th live workshop. The next thing we realize, when we realize how far we've come and how amazing we are, and that we have the power to do all the things we've done, we can keep it going. And number 3, when we realize that we have so much to be grateful for in our amazing, beautiful lives, then we are ready to set goals from this clean space. And we will start that together at my June 28th live workshop. And to get the most out of Educate and Rejuvenate, I would really like you to participate in the coaching. And that starts with each morning, I'll be doing live workshop style coaching right after each of the keynotes. And then in the afternoon, our Wife Teacher Mommy Club coach, Chrissy Nichols, will be doing live coaching where you can come on camera and be coached. This is your opportunity to really see what's going on in your mind. And we're going to have great giveaway prizes at all of the live sessions, including these ones. So I would love if you could join us live. It's going to be such a great time. Okay, so what I hope you get out of Educate and Rejuvenate, there are so many sessions that it is easy to feel overwhelmed by it. So what I would love for you to do is kind of think about what is it that you want to get out of this event. It might be different for everybody. What are the main things you want to learn? Find the sessions that teach that. You're going to learn tons of fun and engaging new ways to teach and ways to streamline your teaching. And then from there, you can pick and choose which ones will work best for you. Don't feel the need to apply everything because you'll feel very overwhelmed, likely, if you try to do that. So just remember what your goals are with the event. Next, I would love for you to learn the basics of coaching and mindset strategies that will help you in your day-to-day life. Just the awareness of your thoughts, creating your feelings, and learning the model that you'll learn here at this event will make all the difference. Even if you never participate in coaching again, you can't unlearn this once you've learned it, and it's going to help you so much. So please participate in that. It is part of what you already paid for. And then remember to keep everything that you want to apply from this event in perspective. Make a plan on how to do it, but don't feel the need to do everything at once. Now, if you want continued support in shifting your mindset, a lot of the stuff I've talked about today, you can learn more about our life coaching inside Wife Teacher Mommy Club. I'm going to give you a little tour, a little sneak peek at that right now. Okay, so here's what the member dashboard looks like. It'll welcome you by name. And then you'll see that we have a member success hub. This is where you'll click to get all the intro videos and everything you need to know about the club. You'll see the calendar, which this will just take you when you click it to scroll down here, where you'll see all of the events happening. You'll see when new resources are being released and different coaching calls. We have at least one call each week in general. So like, at the beginning of June, I had the Declutter Your Mind in Your Space. We did Model Mastery. We have To Be Announced coaching. We've got lots of fun stuff. We got obviously Educate and Rejuvenate should be here, but we've got everything on this calendar so you can find what you need there. We've got the coaching calls and replays. So I'm going to go ahead and open that in a new tab here. And you'll see here are some intro videos about coaching. I'm not going to show those, but there are a few different things that you get as a member in Wife Teacher Mommy Club coaching. First, we have this Ask a Coach portal. So if you want coaching at any time, you're not sure you want to hop on a call, you can always submit questions here and get answers. And the great thing is it's all anonymous, but you get to see what past people have submitted too and see like they type their question, they get the answer from Chrissy is the one who answers all of these, our amazing coach Chrissy, and you'll find the answers there. Now you'll also get to join live calls. We have a live call each week. You can join them, be coached, listen in, however you'd like. We actually do a giveaway on every single live call too, just with our members. We give away a $5 gift card each time. But if you can't attend live, we also have replays. So you can find the replay videos over here. And we even include certificates. So you can potentially get credit for the continued coaching calls as well. You just need to check and verify with your district, just like you did with this event. But you can find all the replays here. We've got the videos you can watch. We're going to be getting this to look more like the Educate and Rejuvenate event soon. So it'll just be like, along the side. We just haven't adjusted that yet. But all the replays, you can find them here. You can download the certificate. There's a little synopsis of each call. The other great thing is we have a private podcast just for members. So you can listen to the coaching on the go as well. So if you aren't able to attend calls live, you can still subscribe to the private podcast feed. And there's kind of some directions here. You'll just get sent an email and then you can listen like to and from work. And it's really simple. You just get this email, start listening. It'll add it to Apple Podcasts or wherever you like to listen. So you can listen to the coaching calls on the go. So maybe you're only able to attend one call a month, but then you can listen to the replays of the rest of them. Okay, but it's not only coaching you get either. We also have resources. And as a member, you get access to our resource library, where we have over 1,000 resources that you can grab. Now, as a monthly member, you get up to 50 per month. As a quarterly member, you get up to 100 per month. And as an annual member, you get unlimited resources. We have 1,243 right now. And as you see on our calendar, we're releasing new stuff very frequently. You can see like most weeks, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 resources that came out in June. So we've always got new stuff coming out. You'll get to just come in here and hit download on whatever resources you want. And if you want to learn more, it's kind of like a shop. You could like shop around and read descriptions and download on the pages, or you can just download right here. So we have so many resources for you. You can like search and filter by grade level, who it's for, types of files, holidays, standards, for you to find what you need. Now, the resources alone pay for the membership. So does the coaching. Coaching memberships are usually a lot more than what we're charging, and the resources alone could pay for it too. So it's such a great value. Okay, and then last but certainly not least, we have other fun and exciting things too. We have a Facebook group for our members. You can submit requests for resources and coaching topics you'd like to see. And members get VIP access to Educate and Rejuvenate, everything that's in the Platinum Pass bundle, the extended access to past events for up to a year. So the summer 2022 will be removed soon. But club members get extended access to all of the events as long as their membership is active. And then we have some really fun new things coming that we will be announcing on Club Day on June 29th. So that is a little overview of Wife Teacher Mommy Club. If you have any questions about that, email hello@wifeteachermommy.com and we will be happy to answer you. We also, if you want to join, you can just go to wifeteachermommy.com/club. And here is what it looks like. This is the page that you'll see. And you'll just be able to hit this button to join. We've got all the information about the club that you can need on this page, kind of spells out everything that you get, reviews, what other people have said, the live coaching, got the resources, the events. We've got the 3-day teacher transformation happening in July, which is it's just 3 days for 1 hour. Club members will get VIP access to that. They'll get extended replays on it. And plus, if you join us quarterly or more, you get a planner in the mail. If you join us as an annual member, you get a tumbler in the mail. We've got so much amazing stuff in Wife Teacher Mommy Club. So that is where you can learn more. But let's get back to my session. Okay, and if you want more free help, advice, and support, be sure to subscribe to Wife Teacher Mommy, the podcast. Some relevant episodes you might love are my recent episode 81, the simple mindset hack to uplevel your teacher life. I talked more about how your thoughts create your feelings and the difference between thoughts and circumstances in this episode. In episode 77, I talked about how to create an intentional schedule and actually stick to it. On episode 76, Chrissy and I did a little get to know you and talking about how coaching in the club works. In episode 67, I taught how to be more confident as a teacher. And in episode 63, I talked about how to motivate the lazy students or the bad kids and how our thoughts about that might be impacting how we're showing up and how we're teaching and what we can do about that. Now, if you'd like to connect with me, really easy to find anywhere. You can email hello@wifeteachermommy.com, website's wifeteachermommy.com. All the socials, everything is pretty much wifeteachermommy.com. Now, don't forget to hop into the Educate and Rejuvenate Facebook group as well. Giveaways will be happening in the discussion threads and the lives. Now, again, thank you so much for being part of this event. I am so happy you are here, and I really hope to see you on the live classes that I will be teaching on the 27th and the 28th. Bye. Okay, so if you loved that, if you want to learn more how to own your wins, if you want to work with me, go to wifeteachermommy.com/club to learn more about how you can lock in all-time low pricing and maybe get some fun swag in the mail too. Well, that's it for today. Hopefully I'm seeing you at Educate and Rejuvenate, but if not, we will talk soon here on the podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And if you're ready to take the next step and work with me and take everything you learn on this podcast to the 10x level, I'd love for you to join me inside Wife Teacher Mommy Club. You'll get access to a library of 1,000+ resources that will help you take back your time. The resources alone easily pay off your club membership. Plus, if you join us on the quarterly plan or above, you'll get our luxury leather-bound teacher planner, a $50 value shipped to your door for free. But in my humble opinion, the most important part of the club is the opportunity to get coached on whatever comes your way, that you can thrive in teaching and life. You'll get to join weekly coaching calls with me and fellow club coaches to not only listen and consume this content, but really apply it to your life. This is where the magic happens. The doors are closed the majority of the year, but you can request a personalized invitation as a podcast listener. Simply go to wifeteachermommy.com/podcast invite to learn more. You can also find the link in the show notes. I hope to see you face to face on Zoom soon inside Wife Teacher Mommy Club.